And how many of those
Do they
people
get a
are
hat?
still going to be doing
No.
exercise
Exactly.
in 6 months' time?
And none of them get a hat.
None of them. I'm going to be wearing my woolly hat in July. It's going to be great.
Hey, welcome to Beer Christianity. My name's Jonty.
I'm Laura.
And I'm Malky.
And Happy New Year!
Happy New Year!
Did you guys have good New Year's? What did you do? What was the haps? Did you party till you puke?
You know what I did? I did drink Prosecco from the bottle on a hill.
Nice. Oh, that's very
fun.
rock and roll.
Yeah.
What hill?
I don't know what hill it was.
If
I
it's
was
Notting
in
Hill, that's...
No, I was in Highgate.
Oh,
and
nice.
we followed my friend there, didn't I? I don't know. I was fairly drunk at the time. Not fairly. I wasn't actually that drunk. It's quite self-aware, but still like
Merry.
bit wavy.
Yeah.
No, watch some fireworks, play some Just Dance. It's good fun.
Sounds marvellous. What about you, Malky? How was your New Year's?
Stayed in my house. Was on no.
And we know how that goes.
Yeah. Getting the kids to bed at a reasonable hour. Hey-o.
Did you do the thing where you lied to them about when it was midnight and show them last year's fireworks?
No.
Genius.
No,
My cousin did that.
I love
It was
that.
like, yeah, just tell them that it's midnight, show them the fireworks on the telly, and go to bed now.
Nah, my daughter
Next
lasted
year.
till like 11 o'clock and she was just like white as a sheet and like, can I go to bed?
Please, Father, I want to sleep now.
No, let's watch the fireworks.
But yeah, I had friends over. In fact, a friend of the show, Kenny.
Shout out to Kenny.
Yeah.
Good.
Ooh, Happy New Year, Kenny.
Happy New
The
Year,
word
Kenny.
hogmanay was mentioned loads.
And did you hog anyone's menace?
Yes.
Was anyone's
Yes, I did.
menace thoroughly hogged?
As is tradition,
As is tradition.
the first menace of the year.
It had the shit hogged out of it.
Yeah. That was very cool. And yes, because he also has children, and then the children live with each other. See, when you have children, most of your time is
Every time they
spent,
mentioned, I now just do that.
Only for Kenny's children, though.
Yeah, it's just his specifically. It's who we're bullying. Is this got to cyberbullying?
just dedicate an episode of the podcast.
We could do an episode that's just dedicated to children we don't like.
Oh, no.
Mine was even less rock and roll than that. It was just me and the missus, and I think it was like 4 o'clock in the afternoon before I realized that it was New Year's Eve. I was like, I wonder what we're going to do for New Year's. And I looked at the date on my phone. I was like, oh. But I was quite sick.
Jonty was messaging me being like, what are you up to today? And I was like, oh, I'm going up to London. I'm on a train. And then like 2 hours later, I got a message being like, fuck, it's New Year.
I was just like, oh, what you doing? Yeah. No.
So, Laura, were you close enough to see the big London fireworks?
Yeah, I saw,
You
yeah.
have.
Not like properly. We were at a bit of an angle, but like you see them in the sky. So you can't really hear them.
See any drones? Any Queen drones?
No, I didn't see any of the Queen drones.
What are
No.
Queen drones?
They made a crown out of drones.
Oh, get over
And
it
the
already.
Queen's face.
Fucking hell. How
Not
long
just
is
It
the
was
it?
in the
man.
Queen's face as
Yeah, it was
well.
the Queen's face on a coin.
Not like her face. They didn't like recreate like
It wasn't like
face on.
photorealistic.
face on of her face.
Each
Out of
drone
drone.
was a
Living
pixel.
Living from the sky. It was like an
Big Mama
outline.
is
It's
watching you.
Midnight just looming out of the sky. It's like Mufasa and the Lion King.
That's terrifying. Wow. I mean, if they had the technology, they would.
Oh, they would.
No, it was as tasteful as lasers can be.
What's everybody drinking?
Red wine.
What kind of red wine?
That's
like
It's that fancy bottle with the yellow label. It's a Rioja. I think it's a Rioja.
Rioja. Okay, that's great. You
In
didn't
yellow.
fairness, in my defense, not my wine.
hashtag
Just
not my
solid,
wine.
wine glass, though. It's a good one.
I'm drinking a Castle Lager, a product of South African breweries, because I am in South Africa.
What? Time travel.
Did you say time travel?
Yeah.
Is this travel?
I won't offer any explanation.
Geographic travel.
Are you not in a different time zone?
Oh, I am in a different time zone. That's true. I'm currently sitting in my brother-in-law's office, and it is, I mean, this computer says it's 9:20, but that is not the time anyway.
That's what my computer says too.
Okay, maybe it's the time there. It is very much after 11 here, so yeah.
Oh,
damn.
Are you all jet lagged then? I mean, wait a minute.
I'm tired from flying. I'm sleepy.
Yeah.
That's the technical term for it. Is I'm a little bit sleepy.
It is a bit sleepy. Sleepy.
It's
just sleepy.
I think actually I'm tired.
Tired.
I
don't want to fall asleep.
Well, let's get through this then. Come on.
Okay. Yeah, let's actually focus. Happy New Year, listeners. Yeah, we
didn't ask Malky what he was drinking. It's not got alcohol in it, so
Lucky Saint non-alcoholic beer.
There it is.
Lucky Saint needs to sponsor us, I think, at some point. Guys, get on it.
Oh shit! Wait a minute. It's 0.5%.
And
shit.
off the wagon he falls.
Low alcohol.
By the end of this podcast, Melk's sniffing meth.
Wow.
Smoking meth. Melk's is injecting meth right into his smoke glands.
Marijuana.
Injecting cannabis.
Cannabis.
We should also say Happy New Year to Stuart Dennis for buying a t-shirt, our very first customer from our merch store at beerchristianity.co.uk. We're terribly excited. And Stuart, please send us a picture of you wearing the shirt. And anybody else who's buying merch, send us a picture of you wearing the shirt. Stuart got in touch specifically to tell us he was buying something, which I think is really cool.
Very cool.
And yeah, check out beerchristianity.co.uk. Malky has put all he's given us a new logo for the first time ever on our websites and web presence.
Is this a safe space to ask what is different about the logo?
I mean, similar to that time, there was a big hoo-ha about Google doing a redesign.
Yeah.
And they'd moved something like 3 pixels or something.
Yeah. I mean,
I saw no difference.
I mean, some of the words are different. Like, it used to say bad beer, now it says fine beer. And it also has the dove representing the Holy Spirit, 2 of them. One is holding a hammer and one is holding a sickle, which I think is going to lose us a few friends. I do understand that.
But it's cute. I like it. It is
cute. It's a glorious
and it works.
thing.
You know, you can go on there, you can listen to things, you can buy products and everything, which it turns out, after selling one of the things, we realize not great capitalists.
Yeah, we're not good at it, but
no, the markup is quite poor.
What did we work it out? The markup is £1.85. That's what we made. Sterling.
2023.
So, you know, someone's been fairly paid. You know, less people are being exploited.
Yeah, I mean, we're being exploited.
We're being exploited.
We are not getting fairly paid.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fine.
I do not get paid enough for this.
Yeah. Also, we said Happy New Year to Stuart. We should also say Happy New Year to John Richmond, who is letting me record in his house and in his studio. Office.
How are you with your fancy fucking friends?
Yeah, right.
In-home studios. She says, looking at Malky in his in-home studio.
Home studio with a keyboard behind him.
Or wanker.
I don't have much of a comeback other than I'm relatively poor.
I would also say Happy New Year to Drabs. The arms of the angels.
I will remember you.
Who said to say hi to you guys as well, because Drabs still is a faithful listener to the podcast. So.
What gem?
Beautiful thing. So, hey, Happy New Year to you, Drabs.
What a mighty good man.
Happy New Year to Pope Benedict XVI.
We're going to add that to the just list of songs that we sing after Drab's name.
Just all of them. Happy New Year to Pope Benedict XVI, because he's Catholic, so you can pray for their souls after they're dead, and therefore you can say hi as well. It's totally fine. Sad to hear that he died. That's a shame. Unhappy New Year to Andrew Tate. Although, in terms of bad news, good news.
Happy New Year to Greta Thunberg.
Happy New Year to Greta Thunberg. And frankly,
Jerry's
the world.
Pizza.
Jerry's Pizza. God bless Jerry's Pizza.
Good job, gang.
It's just a beautiful thing. And honestly, that was my Christmas. Christmas was fine, but watching Andrew Tate get firstly owned by Greta Thunberg and then arrested was just a beautiful thing. It made me really happy. And if we can just quickly say that anybody who says, "Oh, I think they're equally bad," you're a fucking idiot. So chill out.
Have people been saying that?
Oh my word! You should follow
Equally
the fellowship.
bad?
The Fellowship of the Memes on Facebook has been amazing because they came up with some incredible memes about the Andrew Tate thing, and the incels piled on, and the Tate apologists and the misogynists, and they've just been absolutely relentless and no quarter with these guys, which has been beautiful. And but a lot of those people were like, even the people who were like, yeah, I mean, I'm not a Tate supporter, but Thunberg and Tate are pretty much the same thing. I've seen that in a number of meme groups I'm in.
It's wild.
Just
like I've seen people be critical of Greta, but not by any stretch saying that they're the same, because one of them is a literal fucking rapist.
Yeah, it's not
alleged.
Allegedly.
Sorry,
like those guys fucking an ostrich. Allegedly,
a lot of alleges though.
A lot of allege. A lot of people have alleged. Also, the stuff that he said on his own website about tricking women into falling in love with him, and then basically pressuring them into going into the sex trade for him is kind of like the literal definition of trafficking, which is what he's been arrested for. So, I wish nothing
like he
but bad
admitted it
things
himself, guys. It's fine. You don't have to defend him.
Yeah, it's okay. He's a dickhead.
He confessed.
Yeah. So unhappy New Year to him, to Andrew Tate. Unhappy New Year to Rishi Sunak. Unhappy New Year to Andrew Tate apologists. Unhappy New Year to people who just like Andrew Tate and think he has some good points. Unhappy New Year to anybody called Tate, including the Tate Modern, the Tate Britain. And unhappy New Year to anyone called Andrew, including Andrew Garfield.
What about the sugar guy, Tate and Lyle?
Also, fuck those guys. Lyle, Happy New Year. Tate, go to hell. Yeah, just right off. Okay, because
I'd like to say that I separate myself from the Andrew Garfield hate. Andrew, still here for you. It's all right. You can come on my podcast.
That's a bit forward, Laura.
Just me and Andrew Garfield. Just it's
just what, Laura?
We can do it over drinks, as is normal.
And, yeah, you're willing to have him over. It's very kind of you.
My wife might listen to an episode if we get Garfield on.
I wouldn't guarantee that though.
Yeah,
I think it's still not enough.
Oh, was it? Be a Christian. I'll leave it.
I'm out.
Hey, listen. Are we wishing? So, right? What about someone who just likes Andrew Tate a wee bit? Are we wishing that they have a whole terrible year?
Unhappy New Year to you too.
Yeah.
Happy.
I mean, I didn't realize that we were wishing them a terrible New Year, a terrible whole year.
Just saying unhappy New Year.
I was just. It's happy. Basically like I'm greeting you, but saying screw you.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah.
No Merry Christmas for you. This is a lump of coal from Bare Christianity, and this will show them. This is going to turn.
That's a good way of putting it.
Misogyny is done now that we've said unhappy New Year to people who like Andrew Tate. So
the headlines tomorrow morning say Bare Christianity cancels misogyny.
That's right.
And the world is fixed.
Yeah, feminism win. Thanks to
by patriarchy.
Done.
Done.
So
sorted it, mate.
And on top of that great achievement, we are also offering you a discussion about New Year's resolutions, because we thought we should do that. What's your thoughts on New Year's resolutions, guys? What's the vibe for you?
I thought I didn't like them, and we've done episodes on resolutions before, where I've probably espoused this opinion of I've always kind of been like, well, you don't need a new year to make a resolution. Just do what you want. I have 180'd. I'm loving it. I don't know what it was. I feel like there's something about having a concrete beginning of like, I don't, it just feels like, and I know it's not real, but like I've enjoyed it. I've got a whole list. I'm like, but I'm trying to do it like bring in things like gradually, make little habits. And I'm having a great time. I'm feeling very motivated. I'm very on it this year.
I love it. What about you, Malky? What's your opinion on the whole year's resolution vibe?
Well, why mess with a winning formula? Like, what needs to change? Just going to keep on winning, 100%. And
there is no improvement like possible, never mind necessary.
Yeah. No, right. I've accidentally done a New Year's resolution.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's just coincided with when the New Year happened, I think.
Sure.
But previously,
I also don't believe in giving Christmas presents. I just like giving people gifts, and just happened to do it on the 25th of December. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's fine. It's not a biggie.
Yeah.
It's totally sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've done one. You going to
tell us what it is, or are you just going to tell us that you've done it?
Is this the bit where we do the big reveal?
Well, let's first find out what most people have been doing. And I have a so America's top.
Wait, Jonty, what do you think about resolutions?
Well, I think about resolutions. I think I'm probably less militant than you were, but just a bit like, it's fine, I guess. I don't really see the need. I do remember I used to, when I was a teenager, think more about the year coming and like my hopes and dreams. And I think it was something very positive about stopping and thinking about where and who and how I am and how I might want that to change. But I don't know. There never seems to be the space for it really. So maybe New Year's resolutions are quite positive for it. I think I've made a kind of a semi-resolution, and I think it's probably prompted by thinking about the new year, which is an arbitrary, distinction in our lives. But yeah, I think I'm generally positive towards them, actually.
Good.
Yeah.
Nice.
I think you're right. Wait a minute. You cannot minimize the window when you're recording this meeting. Okay, I will not minimize the window. I will open up. That's weird. Fucking all right. Chill out. America's top New Year's resolutions for 2023. We have the number 1 is to exercise more. The number 2 is to eat healthier. Also, I don't understand statistics clearly because 52% of people said to exercise more. 50% of people said to eat healthier. That's not all. You
can have more than one resolution.
Yeah, they'd say a bunch.
Okay. Well, this just demonstrates that I do not understand anything. Lose weight, save more money, spend more time with family and friends, spend less time on social media. That was 20% of people. Reduce stress on the job. That's 19%. And that's a weird resolution because that's not in your fucking control most of the time. And reduce spending on living expenses. Again, weird to have a resolution about that unless you plan a life of crime.
I don't think that's. I know. I would agree. That's one of my
living expenses.
Yeah, like
rent. I'm going to pay less in rent.
Well, no, okay, like not like rent and stuff. I think they mean like how much like food they're buying out and stuff like that. Like they're just not like spending as much on like
bad shit.
But that doesn't feel like living expenses. Living expenses feels like
don't count food as
the expenses to live. Yeah, and it's an expense to live. No?
Yeah, but like you could like reduce like what if you buy, I don't know, all fancy shit? Say, no, I'm not going to buy all fancy shit. Sometimes I'm going to buy.
Going to drive past Waitrose and go Lidl.
Yeah, I'm not going to go to that McDonald's drive-through all the time.
Okay, no, that's fair. I think
delivery app.
So. And then the UK ones for 2023 are to exercise more. Again, 50%. And then instead of eating healthier, right above that is to save more money. So you can tell that we've had a terrible Brexit.
Yeah.
The fact that is way above. To eat healthier, I say way above, it's 49%, whereas 48% said
above.
It's 1% above eating healthier. Then there's losing weight. Spend more time with family / friends. Reduce spending on living expenses.
Ooh.
Which is different from saving money, apparently. Spend less time on social media. Quit smoking. Do more for the environment. That's 18%. Cut down on alcohol, that's 18%. Improve performance on the job, that's 16%. Nerds. Reduce stress on the job, okay. Become a virgin? No, a vegan. Become a vegan. So the writing is very small. And then other and don't know a strong 3% each. So, you know.
I'm enjoying that. Become vegetarian/vegan for 5%. I'll take that.
Oh yeah, you're doing veganuary, hey?
I am doing veganuary.
Exactly.
I didn't check whether this wine was vegan. It's too late now.
It's off to a bad start.
It's going well.
I think also, you know,
That's
the
the
amount
attitude.
of non-vegan stuff in wine, it's not like it's a fucking purity law.
Like
It's a,
most of the wine,
but
it's fine. It's not like I've got like a cow tongue in there.
yeah, exactly. You know, you're fine. You're fine.
Yeah, I'm fine.
Okay, so what are your
wine
resolutions
milkshake.
that you can tell people about, Laura?
Well, veganuary.
Mm-hmm.
I've got my notebook. I'll read some of the lists. There's quite a few. I've not phrased them as. See, this is the thing. I think a lot of the issue I have with these lists, they're too vague. When you say like exercise more, you're not going to do that because what does that mean?
Are you saying that the problem is that it's not going to be effective because that is not a clear goal? Because
Yeah.
exercise. Okay. Also, I'm surprised you've gone analog. What happened to spreadsheets? Who are you, and what have you done with the real Laura?
I got pretty stickers on my notebook.
Okay, that's fair. Okay.
Also, in line with the UK statistics, is one of your bullet points, don't know.
Yes, and other.
No, it's not. One of them is reading this book every day, which is Seeking Aliveness by Brian McLaren,
Decent.
which, you know, I think we should talk about when we, you know, spoilers for what we're going to talk about in a minute, which is the Christian New Year's resolutions. I think this would fit in well with that.
Okay, nice. Also, a side note, Brian McLaren is coming up on Beer Christianity. We realized when we were recording the last one that we still haven't used our interview from Greenbelt Festival with Brian McLaren.
Definitely knew that was still
in terms
going
of
there.
winning podcast strategies, leaving your biggest name interview to date to just languish in the archives.
We're playing the long game.
Yeah, baby.
Playing the long game. And in fact, actually, top 2 goals, we'll read that book and put more effort into the podcast. There you go. Bit vague.
Lovely.
We'll see if that works.
That's a
that was one of mine for you as well, Laura.
Oh, thanks. Malky's notebook.
We've both got resolutions for you, Laura. And
Yep, thanks. I'm excited
Try
to get
harder.
to that. Yeah, some of my health goals include be less anemic and go to the dentist. Achievable.
Be less anemic should be a Beer Christianity t-shirt.
Yeah.
Be less anemic.
Be
Just
less
generally,
anemic.
you
Just
be
be
less
less.
anemic.
Yeah. I've got a mirror that fell down like 6 months ago. That's on the list to hang back up. This is a very engaging content.
So wait,
Odd jobs.
Your resolutions. Your resolutions are a to-do list. They're just an actual. This is why you think it's too.
Yeah, but
that's exercise more is so vague when it should be like buy potatoes, rice.
But when I do that goal, I'm going to be like, great, look at that, achieving my goals, and it's going to feel great, and I'm going to give myself a virtual gold star.
Okay, what else have we got? Cut toenails.
Have a no spend day once a week.
Nice.
So yeah.
So drinks are on me then.
Yep. I've put down finish 2 hobbies.
Finish a hobby.
Two hobbies.
Like finish the hobby. Like win at knitting.
I went through a bad phase.
Complete reading.
I'm quite bad at just like being like, oh yeah, I'm going to do that, and then just like buying stuff for it, and then just leaving it and not doing it. So I've got.
But you don't have undiagnosed ADD, though. That's the important.
No, it's totally fine.
Yeah.
I've got an embroidery kit in the cupboard that I bought in 2020.
Mm-hmm.
Going to finish that this year. Going to embroider some stars.
When you say finish that.
Yeah, I'm gonna do
just
it. Don't
complete
worry
the
about
hobby.
it.
Just reach the top level and then.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I got given for Christmas, very kindly from one of my colleagues, a knitting set with like big chunky needles and like nice wool. I'm gonna knit myself a hat. And it's gonna be great. I know. Read 50 books.
So wait a minute. One of your just to be clear, one of your New Year's resolutions is fuck this, lose weight, save money, become a vegan, knit self hat.
Yeah.
Okay, now just
I don't know how to knit. Yeah. That's a good resolution. And I get a hat out of it at the end of it. And some fingerless gloves.
Yeah. Most people just get to do more exercise and there's no payoff to that.
And how many of those
do
people
they get a hat?
are still going to be doing exercise in 6 months' time?
And none of them get a hat.
None of them. I'm going to be wearing my woolly hat in July. It's going to be great. And yeah, read 50 books, which I'm probably not going to do. You
read 50 books in like a month, don't you?
No, I don't. I read 36 books last year, and that's poor. Wow. That's poor. So I'm going to, as long as I do better than that.
Is it a competition? How many books will you read?
It's a competition against myself.
Okay. What if they're bad books? Really short books? You could read really short, terrible books.
Well, I don't want to do that. I want to read books that I like. If it's a bad book, they'll take me ages to read it.
But then why do you have a number? Sorry, Malky.
I like having them.
Have you not seen these things on Twitter, Jonty?
No?
Like people do big reviews of, these are the 5,000 books I read in 2022.
I've got an nice
rip-off one.
I got an app.
Sorry. Children's books. A dad. Sorry, guys.
Yeah. Lame.
His top 10 books. And he reviewed them as if they were like, inspirational thought leaders books.
Nice.
Rather amusing.
I like that.
I've got an app that gives me stats on the books I read. The more books I read, the more pie charts I get.
Good God. That is like the least motivating reward I have ever heard of. You know what? Don't worry. It's really hard to read this many books, but it's okay because you get pie charts.
Yeah, I do. And it tells me what moods I read. 2022, I read 11 reflective books. And I read 13 emotional books. And I read, I don't know what this one is, 11 mysterious books.
Do they have anything fun like saucy or insouciant or
I read
impudent?
I don't know. I've got the books I read were emotional, mysterious, adventurous, tense, hopeful, challenging, inspiring, reflective, lighthearted, dark, funny, informative, and sad.
I'm really broken-hearted that smutty is not a category on this thing.
I just haven't read any of those books.
Was there one genre specifically before you went to Greenbelt? Because it was to do with camping. Tense.
Oh, boy. I mean, if any one of us needs to read a book about tents, no, I think you should be making that joke here. Yeah. Like, come on, man. Goodness me.
Okay, well that's good. Malky, what was your what are the rest of your news? We got slightly sidetracked on
I didn't read out all of them.
But what else have we got? Have you got anything else?
There's like so many.
You just read the best.
I've just given it. I take vitamins every day.
That's a reasonable one.
Yeah. And I've got a habit tracker as well.
Answer the phone. It's ringing.
Call people more is also on my list.
Feeds cat.
Listen, it's good to have goals. Yeah, and when we do this episode again in 2024, we can have a look back at this list and see.
I mean, you can't be ticking off things off a to-do list.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's going to feel good.
Yeah.
When I'm less anemic, I don't know how I'm going to measure that. Go for a blood test at the end of the year.
Would you take a picture of your list for us and then we can put it on the website so that other people can emulate your list and see how many other people feel like they're going to reach your goals?
I feel like you're joking, so I'm not going to do that.
I really want you to, actually. Well, check beerchristianity.co.uk and see if we've put up Laura's list. That's going to be the mysterious thing. Malks, what's your resolution/resolutions?
So, right, I'm going to try and keep it tight and not just start
all right
crying about my life. But
savage.
I think I probably have bad feelings about resolutions. Probably being a young person and feeling like I need to have. No, in the olden days.
Oh, right.
In the olden days. And giving myself massive, like, okay, this year, I shall be holy as Christ is holy.
Okay. Like,
Yeah,
we
there
were
you go,
fucking around last
TV.
year, but
Yeah.
this year,
We did a lot of terrible
It's
things, but
literally
for no
always
particular
about
reason.
masturbation. That's
Yeah.
whatever vague resolution it is, it's just like, please stop fapping. That's the main thing. For the love of God, stop fapping.
This is the year.
Come on.
Come on, 2001. So I think the Christian, like just general Christian guilt is what that was always framed as. And yeah, it was a good call from Laura as like, get healthier. It's just like, read the Bible. Like, it's just like, do all the things. Be a living sacrifice 24/7. So yeah, didn't find them. And then obviously like crushing disappointment on like January the 2nd. So, that felt healthy.
Laura.
But
I feel like there's a
I
lot
didn't
of
realize you would
judgment in
break that
that
easily.
but being quote unquote in recovery and doing the 12 steps, then there's a lot of reflecting and, there's some shit you need to change. I don't know if you know what I mean? It's recommended that you make some adjustments to one's life.
That's what the 12 steps is all about, just make some adjustments.
Yeah, just some minor tweaks here and there. Well, that is so part of the foundation is daily disciplines of doing stuff, and with it being, what's it been like?
Is the alliteration intentional? Like daily disciplines of doing dirty deeds.
Yikes.
Or not.
Or not. Take it or leave it. But anyway, it feels like something's kind of come together on, I'm saying this 5 days in. But like, so there was a book that was recommended to me in early days of recovery called The Miracle Morning. And it's quite bad after the whole Andrew Tate stuff, because it's like just the tone of that shit. Like there's a lot of, it's, quite, I'm looking for a more nuanced term than American, but it's quite American. And like,
American listeners, we love you, obviously.
Yeah.
But you know what we're saying, right?
Great.
It's great if you can, take some good bits and leave the not so good bits, or just leave the tone. There's a lot of like, not the language of leveling up, but like take your, I don't know, fucking, health and wealth to, instead of a level 5, like mediocrity, like take it to a level 10. Like there's just a lot of that bollocks. But anyway, the point being, something that this really helped this guy was getting your shit together in the morning, getting up early, getting your kind of mentality around sleep and all that sorted. And it fucking is helpful for me at the moment. So the last like 2 or 3 days, just been deliberately getting up early. And partly this is, I don't know if you guys know, but I have children.
Lame.
So any other parent, I don't know, I'd imagine that parents do not listen to this show because of all the
Kenny listens to this show.
Anti-child
Kenny
rhetoric.
listens to this show, but I think everybody else is cool.
Drabs.
All right.
Drabs is a parent, that's true.
Yeah. So there's several years in the trenches where it's like the kids are just up all night, shitting themselves and vomiting, and you get no sleep. So me and the missus have been in a pattern, like pretty much, since early days, of taking it turnabout with doing early mornings with the kids. But then it also creates a pattern like every other morning, especially being self-employed. I'm like, oh, fuck it. I'm now exhausted and I'm going to sleep till 10.
Like a hungover sloth.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, kids are a bit older and not so mental. So basically, yeah, it's fitting with the opportunity of like just being like, fuck it. Let's get to bed at a reasonable hour. Get myself up at, wait for it, guys, 7 a.m.
Okay, that's really early. That's horrendous.
A boss.
There's
I'm
no
going to sound
such
like
time
a
as
right
that.
dickhead.
The kids sound like a nerd is what you're going to sound like right now.
The kids
I
need
get up
to...
at 6:30.
Good Lord.
Come on, Marky, do better.
But yeah, the kids need to be up around 7:30 if they're not, which they usually are, to get shit ready for school and all that. But just the idea of getting up before that, like that's just been unthinkable, the last few years, like getting up before I need to, before the kids, and just get my shit done. So like, I've really appreciated, again, in recovery, doing meditation, but that's been on and off, but here and there. So part of that get up morning routine of just meditating, being mindful and aware. And I guess it's waking up. It's, again, breaking out that cycle of like, I'm either like, oh, fucking hell, it's so early, I have to be up with the kids. Or like, oh, yes, I get a lie in. Everything will be fine. And then slothfully waking up. It's just like, you're kind of fucked either way. So yeah, just trying to bring in that discipline, and it just feels good. And embracing the fact that all the experts seem to say the best, like the main thing about sleep is regularity, so.
Yeah, which it makes me lose hope, because I'm not really consistent in literally anything in my life, and sleep is probably the least consistent aspect of it. Like my wife and I watch TikTok for an hour before we go to sleep, which means we go to sleep. We turn out the light at 2:00 in the morning most mornings, which is possibly not great. That? And also, she can sleep really late. I can't. So yeah, I think I'm not. I think maybe maybe I'm not healthy.
Yeah. Also, yeah, you don't go to 12-step me and Jonty, because these people are insufferable.
Oh no, I know.
One of my mates talks about they do, like, him and his wife do a meditation to go to sleep every night, and
so do we watch TikTok.
Yeah,
that's what it's different for. Different kind of. Do they have a different app?
Yeah, that's also fine. Yes.
Oh, well, that's that's good.
So that's kind of I think probably because I had a very chilled out Christmas. We weren't scooting about all over the country. We didn't go up to Scotland to see family, and didn't go down to see the mother-in-law because she's been unwell, which is sad. But it meant lots of chilled out and not doing much. So yeah, time to reassess and read some books, and kind of was thinking, right, I'll dedicate to that. So that's what I'm saying in terms of it's like sort of coincided with January starting. And I also really, really don't want to go, this is what I'm doing for the fucking year. Because again, just in recovery, and like I just put big burdens on myself that I then crush myself in shame and get into that old fun spiral. So it's just like right now, this seems cool. I'm going to do it, and I'm going to try and do it tomorrow as well. It's almost like, guys, it's one day at a time.
Lame. I kind of on that. I think I saw this on like Instagram. It was like a screenshot of like a Reddit thread or something like that. That's half the shit I see on Instagram. But it's actually kind of a mantra that I'm keeping in my brain going into the year of anything worth doing is worth doing half-assed. So if you're like,
this is my approach to sex.
Don't there, I knew there was going to be something.
That was a low-hanging fruit. I could do a much better version of that joke.
Yeah. I'll let you think on it.
Okay.
But like, if cleaning your teeth is an important thing to do, but maybe you don't feel like you can like stand there for 2 minutes and clean your teeth, do it for 10 seconds.
That's awesome.
10 seconds, swill around your mouth with a toothbrush. It's better than not cleaning your teeth at all. I feel like that's the kind of like I think that's a good mantra of like, and then you can be like, hey, I did it.
Yeah. Even if you struggle to like eat, just eat a small thing. It's still better than not eating at all.
Better than nothing.
You don't have to cook a whole meal. That's awesome. I love that.
Start on the list. That is in my brain.
Like, if you don't have to hang the mirror like properly. Like you could like use blue tack.
I've been looking for command strips for so long.
Okay, command strips. What a name. What a brand. It's just I need the right ones. It's a whole thing. Don't get me started. It's not very interesting. I still don't.
Jonty, what was your half resolution?
My half resolution was, it was kind of like I want to get to the place this is so vague. I just realized I spend a lot of my time expecting the absolute worst to happen. And that's, that's being, mentally ill. That's, being just a sad little guy, and those are different things, but I am both of those. And I think a lot of the time I just expect the worst to happen. I expect bad things to happen, and then I get afraid that they will happen. And then, I don't know. I end up spending quite a lot of time thinking bad things are going to happen, being certain bad things are going to happen. And it's quite stressful and it's quite exhausting. And I've been trying, not since New Year's, but from a little bit before, of just trying to be like, okay, but maybe it doesn't happen. Maybe tonight you're not going to die. Maybe the worst isn't happening right now. Maybe you're just tired and you're not dying. Or maybe you won't be turned away from customs for no freaking reason and be sent all the way home like I was absolutely convinced was going to happen, and then we sailed through. So I don't know. I don't know how one could really quantify that, but I know what that, or kind of condense it into a pithy saying. Like, it's not just don't be negative. It's more like just try not to assume that feeling that you get where you're like, oh, I think the worst is about to happen. It's definitely going to happen. Maybe interrogate that and go, that's not necessarily the case. And maybe I'll be okay. Maybe the worst isn't going to happen. Maybe this will be quite nice, so that I spend less of my life not enjoying things when they're actually going fine. That's kind of my resolution. However one would, codify that. I don't know.
I think that's a good resolution.
I think it's a reasonable resolution, but that's the only one I got. What other resolutions should I have? Make up some resolutions for me.
I think you should hang that fucking mirror that you fell off the wall.
hang Laura's mirror. Buy
mirror
Laura some vegan flour. I can't think of
vegan flour.
I don't know if you can get vegan wine.
Who had the list of Christian resolutions?
I
got a list of Christian resolutions.
To do all those immediately.
Okay. I'm going to read, quick responses to these, because these are 20 Christian New Year's resolutions you'll actually want to keep, from equippinggodlywoman.com, which is obviously my go-to for all advice. So just quick fire responses. Read your Bible 20 minutes a day, every day. Laura, thoughts?
20 minutes is too long.
Malky?
No, thanks.
Okay.
Already read it.
Reddit was not a fan. 5 out of 10 would not recommend. 2, go to church every week without fail. Laura?
Adding without fail in there is too presumptuous of what I'm doing with my life.
Malks?
Yeah, it's very important to fail. Like, seriously. Yeah. I mean, try and go to church more.
Yeah,
fine. Fair enough. But
without fail is because then you'll fail at doing that and then you'll hate yourself.
Okay. Set aside 15 minutes each day to pray.
Yeah, you don't have to set aside your time to do it. Just find a schedule that fits you.
Pray as you go.
Yeah.
Malky?
Yeah, that's pretty cool. In my little morning routine, I mean, prayer doesn't explicitly feature, but that's the sort of shit. Like, if that's the thing you want to do, then so I'm finding actually having a dedicated time to do it is helpful, rather than just a vague notion.
Yeah, I think my problem was with time limits. Like, if you're gonna don't spend a set 15 minutes timer, because then you're just going to be filling the space with stuff.
Well, fair to these guys, carving out 15 minutes of quiet time in prayer doesn't. I think calling it a quiet time is what I would object to, which they didn't do in the title, which I like. But they're like, wake up 15 minutes earlier, pray in the shower, pray while you're doing hair or makeup, pray during your morning or evening commute, pray on your lunch break, etc. Pray with your kids before they go to sleep every night. Join a Bible study.
Yeah, fine. Bit vague, but
Malks?
Sorry, I was distracted because I was thinking about my children.
Ladies
And yeah, how little I pray with
They are. Oh.
But Sienna I hadn't realized, but she'd got a little basket that we keep all our like hats and gloves and shit in the winter. And she'd put one of her dolls in there. That was all the preamble that I was unaware of. And then at some point the doll went missing. So apparently this was Jesus. And she just at some point stood at the top of the stairs and shouted, "Jesus has escaped." Okay, that's a lot. Where do we start with this?
That's a lot to unpack here. Also, let's keep that for Easter.
Escaped.
Yeah.
That's so good.
That's awesome. Try fasting.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, I like that as well. Melts?
Maybe next year or something, you know? I've got a lot on my plate.
One step at a time.
Pun not intended, but I'm quite happy with it.
Ask a friend to church. So, guys, when I say quick fire, I should probably unpack that term.
Yeah, all right. I'm not very good at that. But yeah, all right.
Well, there are two schools of thought that immediately come. Nah.
Doesn't it just have to be to church? Again, too specific.
What is church, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my
Am I
word.
not church? Is this church?
This is church. Invite a friend to listen to Bare
podcast.
Christianity. That's important.
That should be a guest.
To be a guest.
Yeah.
And to be a host. Invite your friends to host the Bare Christianity podcast. I can't believe this website missed that. I find that really hard because sometimes and often, like probably 80% of the time I go to church, I'm like, that was fantastic. That was really great. I had a good time. I felt like I connected with the Lord. I felt like I was inspired or informed or something, and that's cool, and I enjoyed it. But that 20% is just like when you have one of those bad, horrific, services, and you're like, oh, I cannot bring my non-Christian friend to this. That would be awful. Because we've got a non-Christian friend who's like, hey, when can I come to church with you? And I'm like, soon. I'm just trying to work out is there a way that I can ask the pastor, look, how mortifying is this going to be?
Infiltrate the leadership team.
Yeah, that's the only way. Okay. Begin volunteering.
Yeah, if you've got time, don't pressure yourself.
I think that's I would say, do that before you join a Bible study. In terms of one's actually doing some good. Or if you run a Bible study, spend half of your time doing stuff that actually helps people and half of your time doing stuff that informs you and, helps you pray for each other. So thought.
Bye, B.
Start tithing.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. I'm not out of the woods yet with my Christian deconstruction.
Right.
Because my initial reaction, especially to the Bible study, the tithing, and the volunteer, I'm like, oh, fuck, I need to be doing that more. Fucking hell. I should do that more.
No, and that's
if it's worth doing, do it half-assed. It still applies to half of these things.
That's true. I was hungry, and you kind of fucking gave me some food sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's better than oh, you were too busy.
You didn't.
Give me fuck all.
Yeah, that's true. It is. But I think the whole point is if it's making you feel awful, that's the bad kind of resolution, right?
Mm-hmm.
I should be doing that. It's very unhelpful, unmotivating.
I would like to do that. Not I should.
I can. I get to.
I can.
I could if I wanted to.
Yeah.
Here's one that I don't know if Laura's going to love or hate. Read a certain number of Christian books each month.
It's just never going to work out like that. Just sure, fine. To be fair, I speak a lot of, someone who's one of my resolutions is read more than 6 non-fiction books. But
it's people are out there reading more than one book a month. Blows my mind.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot of things words in that sentence. Christian, although stuff I read would be, I think it's Christian. I feel like the author of the blog I disagree.
They're quite good. They
Exactly.
recommended
You can read
putting God
Christian
first,
books that are
how
unhelpful.
to make God the number one priority in every area of your life.
Mm-hmm.
They've also got a list of 10 must-read Christian marriage books, which I'm sure are not awful.
Why do you... Christian marriage is not that specific or complex to need 10 books.
Oh, man. Yeah, no, Christian marriage books, that's a whole freaking episode in itself. They're terrible. Memorize scripture. All of it, apparently.
All of it.
Immediately.
Yeah, how do we feel about memorizing scripture?
It might not be useful to you, but sure, fine. If it's helpful, go for it. Live your life.
Again,
I'm glad I know so
when I
much
was-
scripture.
Yeah. I think we spoke about this a while back, Jonty, about like teaching kids Bible stories,
Yeah.
like how you do in the park. You know, it may seem like
Lame.
yeah, it's just like you look back and you know, even with deconstructing or putting things together or kind of whatever, having a different slant on faith, then I've got a lot of stuff that I can come back to and be like, oh yeah, because Jesus said this, or there was this parable that went like
exactly.
that. Like I've got that
Yeah,
stuff
fair
to
enough.
hand, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, I love that. But I don't know, is the memorizing, you know, part of me is just like, oh, that's so performative, that's so like old school.
It's the motivation behind it, isn't it?
Yeah. But it is super useful when you know it. I mean, I also like the idea of memorizing a poem. I went to L'Abri years ago now, and there was somebody there who just said, hey, a few of us are going to memorize a poem a week. And they had a Philip Larkin poem, which is just lovely. I still have it up on my fridge. It's just nice.
I was listening to an episode of Brene Brown's podcast, and she had Richard Rohr on it, guys. Brene Brown and Richard Rohr, that's right.
I genuinely do not know how to feel about that.
Anyway, but they talked about, one of the questions was, what's your favorite prayer? And they talked about prayers, and it was just like, wow, that's super Catholic. Like, just as a proddy, I'm just like, your favorite. You just
my favorite prayer is a prayer I say to the Lord that comes from my heart and my spirit and truth. Actually, that's my favorite prayer. What's your favorite prayer? Something somebody else wrote for you?
There are designated prayers.
Yeah, dude.
Like other than like the Lord's Prayer.
Yeah, there's like the Book of Common Prayer, and then there's the Book of Fancy Prayer, the Book of Bougie Prayer. Like all of that. Oh, that's a fucking publishing.
Write that idea. Write it down. Write that down.
The Book of Bougie Prayer.
Book of Bougie Prayer.
But that shit similar to, you know, poetry.
Yeah.
To memorize that, to recall it and recite.
But then I'm always like, again, I'm so freaking Protestant in my heart. Like I want to be a Catholic, but like I'm just like, and immediately in my head I just hear myself saying like, sure, you could memorize those prayers, but I mean, you have the Psalms, so maybe do the Psalms first. Yeah. You know, like just like
from the actual Bible.
The actual Bible.
Come on, guys.
You know? Yeah. Okay. Forgive past grudges.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
Absolutely not.
To the grave.
What's that thing about? Like, I don't want to go into the new year on bad terms with anybody. So please apologize to me. Thank you very much.
Read that again. How was it?
Forgive past grudges.
Forgive past grudges. Yeah, fair play. I mean, that's pretty cool and enlightened. Like it feels pretty cool.
This is just, honestly
the one we took the piss out of the most. I'm like, actually,
I picked this article because I was like, oh, I'm probably going to find this lame because it's like a mainstream Christian thing, and I was like, this is all very solid. Actually, it's a nice article. Well done, equippinggodlywomen.com. You're doing all right.
Well equipped.
I feel like a godly woman. Break an addiction.
Yeah.
Okay, so now maybe I'm out of step with culture here, but I don't understand why everybody's so anti-addiction, you know? Like, if it's not hurting anybody, like, you know, I can't do it without
it's hurting
my tea.
yourself.
Yeah, but I mean, a lot of them aren't. You know, I was talking to somebody this evening who was just my mom and my sister, like, they gamble all the time. They're fully addicted. But, you know, makes them happy. You know, that was her vibe. She was just like, you know, whatever. I don't know. If it's not hurting you, I don't know. Malky, what do you think?
Nothing. I have zero opinions.
No, I've just never really thought about
it. Just then, never crossed my mind.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, if you see addictions or compulsive behaviors on like a continuum of like, you know, maybe, don't know, donuts. or one thing for you. You know what I mean? And that's fine.
Yeah.
Like,
Like if it's coffee,
gambling. Yeah.
Yeah, like I'm fully addicted to caffeine.
Yeah. I'm not sure that that's a massive problem. And I know that the logic is like, well, a lot of people are addicted to that, so they shouldn't judge other people. I'm like, you don't have to pretend that drinking coffee is as bad as doing meth in order to not judge people for doing meth. Like, it is possible,
Absolutely. And, the key things is, has your life become unmanageable? And what's the other thing? Oh, fucking hell. Yes, but not because of that.
Wait, are we talking about addictions? Like, I wouldn't know does a 12-step program have a way of discovering what thing you're doing is making your life unmanageable? Because I don't know. My life is unmanageable. It's definitely unmanageable, but I have no idea why.
Well, back to Laura's principle of start
Help
with
me,
one
Malky.
thing. Take one thing you're addicted to and go to a 12-step group for that. And then,
and then go choose the next one. Lucky dip.
Spin that wheel.
Don't spin the wheel if you have a gambling addiction.
Write them all.
Very important.
Write them all down, put them in a bowl, and see which one you find.
Again, not great if you have sex addiction. If you're putting them on keys, putting them in a bowl, it's just, again, it's not a helpful thing. It's not good. Find a mentor or accountability partner.
Well, listen, if you're in a 12-step program for your meth problem, then that comes with a package.
Yeah, I don't hate that one. It's kind of like having a therapist, right?
I think accountability partner, I always think of as the guy you call when you've succumbed and used porn. And I always find that creepy AF.
The software that sends an alert to your wife whenever you go to Pornhub.
Yeah, Jonty, I hate those phone calls, man.
Yeah, I'm sorry. It's just like,
especially when it's
like, okay, but Jonty, you're supposed to stop. This is supposed to be at least afterwards. Okay. Jonty, please hang up. Stop calling me.
Please.
Oh
no.
My children keep answering, please.
Leave. Weeping down the phone.
It's the man again.
The sad man, Daddy. He's on the phone again.
No.
Be a more loving / involved wife / mother / friend.
Involved.
That's a lot of ground to cover.
Involved wife.
There's a lot, yeah.
Loving,
so what they say is,
involved.
we're all guilty of letting our relationships slide a bit at times. Ready to make this year a year you change that? Don't promise to just do better. Get specific. What are 1 to 5 specific actions you're going to do this year to improve your relationships? So that was a very non-specific way of telling people to be specific.
Do better waiting.
I think maybe it's just like if you're not really paying attention to your partner or your friends, and you're being a shitty partner / friend, don't do that anymore. Make some effort. I think that's good.
I think that's fun.
Be content with what you have.
Depends what you have.
What if it's not enough? What if it's not nice?
But also, what if what you've got is shit?
That's actually true.
But what if you're in a really shitty situation? That's not going to be like, so someone's like, well, I think this year you just need to be content with what you have. And it's just like, I have this friend who keeps calling me when he's when he's watching porn. It's a really bad. I don't want to be content with that.
I am not content.
I'm not content. You can be content with some things, but it's also okay to change other things.
And the contentment narrative, I think, within the church can also be weaponized against any kind of social change. Let's just put that out there as well.
That was a big one for like slaves.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
pretty much. Let's focus on being content, guys.
Yeah, exactly. And like you do hear some churches or Christians trotting this out when there's like strike action or whatever of like, well, let's just make sure that this culture is just so obsessed with like self and what we can get rather than like the duties that we have to each other. I'm like,
I mean, that is a message for the rich.
Exactly.
It's not a hidden message.
Yeah. Shit rich people stay. Yeah. Keep the Sabbath.
Yeah. Keep a Sabbath. It doesn't have to be like
the Sabbath.
Sunday, but resting.
Yeah, sure. I'm just crowbarring everything into what I'm doing already. So yeah, 30 minutes in the morning is my Sabbath
There you
time.
go.
So I used to think of this as a very kind of like strong spiritual principle, but then I was also like, I work so much better on a Sunday night, you know? I'm like, is that bad? Does God care about us keeping the Sabbath? Hey, if you're a listener and you have any kind of strong feelings on this, don't get in touch. But if you have like half-assed feelings on this, but feel informed, do get in touch and let us know what you think about Sabbath, because I'm interested to explore that. That can be cool.
Me too.
I was assuming, Jonty, that you're like, well, it's a movable feast. You can have it on a Friday afternoon if you like.
I don't understand if that's a joke.
No, it could have been like,
You're too dry, Malky.
Yeah.
no, it's not. Like the work on a Sunday. You're allowed to work on a Sunday.
I don't know if I have. Here's the thing. I don't think I work hard enough to need a Sabbath. I don't think
that's true.
See,
I
'cause
think
you're
it's
right.
like
Accrued Sabbath during the week when you were supposed to be working.
yeah.
I think it's not about like it's a time to have a break from like your work. It's like meant to be like a time to like properly rest. Like if you're like
I don't know how to rest.
if you're sat in, but like that's the point. If you're
Like,
sat in bed at 1 o'clock in the morning watching TikTok, is that resting?
Yes. That's the thing. Is yes, 100%. That is the most restful thing that I do. And like, I guess it's like what is resting? Because there are periods in my life when I take it easy quite a lot of the time. You know.
Fair.
So do I need it? But then actually, even when I was
how do you feel about those periods?
Yeah. Well, I think honestly, I'm in a period of Sabbath now because I'm burnt out from work. So I'm incapable of having a full-time job currently. Is that true? I don't know. I definitely have been. Maybe not right now, but I have. That's been at least a period of my life.
That's not something we can unpack right now.
No, but like the idea of you need to take a rest from your labors. I'm like, I take quite a few rests. So I don't know. But then I like the idea of like an entire day dedicated to it. I'm just like, but what would I do? Like if I want to relax, I write. That's working. I also write for a living. So it's complicated. It's hard. Get in touch if you know anything.
You've got guys, as a coverall.
If you know shit, get in touch.
I think it assumes you've got a shit job.
Yeah.
Like work is grim.
Yeah.
And, it's like, God is your union right there. It's like, let's not take the piss, guys.
Yeah. And I think like having a job and all that kind of stuff, it's just like, if you're a freelancer, I'm like, then, I'm actually just making excuses. It's fairly clear. You should, it's healthier to, and also dedicated, keeping it holy, I feel like is interesting. Okay. Refuse to gossip.
It's just so fun though, isn't it? I'm just, I don't know. I mean, fine.
I remember reading, I think it was Robert Heinlein, early Heinlein, so it's fine if there are any Heinlein scholars out there. And I remember him saying, one of the characters saying, I don't gossip, I gossip, but I don't engage in scandal, because scandal is judgmental and it adds, a kind of judgment element, and it denounces the person for whatever you're talking about. Whereas gossip is just like, just I'm sharing some information,
If it's for prayer, then that's fine. My friend's brother's husband's mate is, really in some shit. So, and pray about it.
Yeah, if you like.
Yeah.
Okay, what else have we got here? We've got listen to Christian music.
What if it's shit music?
Don't listen to shit Christian music.
I do like it. Like, it's got to be good music first. But if it's a recommend, like if Langley recommends something, then I'm like, decent.
I think I'm too picky with music.
Yeah, you have very specific tastes.
I'm a serial skipper, and I have to like know exactly what I'm in the mood for to be able to listen to it.
Okay.
So,
stop complaining.
Ugh. Fine.
They quote Philippians 2:14 saying, do everything without complaining or arguing. But I think some things need to be argued about and some things need to be complained about.
Like, I'm going to complain about the fact that Rishi Sunak wants people to do maths until they're 18 because I think that's fucking dumb. And I'm going to complain about it.
And we also live in a
that's okay.
democracy. So if you are anti-complaining in some kind of fundamental way, you are anti-democracy.
Yeah.
Yes, and also back to the slave shit. I think I took a lot of this stuff. Like power dynamics were missing in my Christian formation because it's a new thing. I just learned to stick up for myself and have boundaries. You know, don't allow yourself to be taken advantage of and abused, and also don't fucking use that as an excuse for not being nice to people.
Yeah,
but just that sense of you can't complain about anything. Oh, yeah. What about systemic oppression? Or what about
the stuff that's happening to you? I guess it's kind of like you need to have a clear understanding, a clear-eyed understanding of like what is happening to you and what is, and like where you are in the power dynamic. Because if you have cause to complain, it's okay to complain, but you do have to understand the existence and how the power dynamics are functioning with you.
Yeah.
Do random acts of kindness.
How long is this list?
It's the last one. That's the last one. Random acts of kindness.
Yeah, fine. Yeah, it's nice.
I like random acts of kindness because I'm not a very systematic person. So, I just like the idea of something gets presented to you and you're like, okay, don't let your left hand know what your right hand is doing when it comes to, helping people. Just be random with it, but be open to the fact, have the kind of spirit that would be like, oh, that person's struggling, that they're ahead of me in the queue and their card's not working. Just fucking pay for their drink, or whatever. Random stuff like that. I just think the problem is we have reduced the entire of Christian ethics to random acts of kindness because we don't like thinking about systemic injustice. So we're just like, well, I'm pretty polite and I helped somebody get onto the train the other day. And if that's the sum total of our goodness, then we are aiming low.
Yeah. Yeah. And I feel like it's become almost too systemic. You get those random, is it 40 acts for Lent?
Yeah, I used to write for that.
Send you a random act of kindness to do every day. So it's not that random.
Yeah, that's not random. That's what random means, guys. Yeah. Okay. Well, I think we're quite close to the end, if not running over time at this point. So we are running over time. I just read your note that you sent to us in the chat, Laura. Thank you very much.
20 minutes ago.
25 years ago. So I think that's kind of the end of the thing. If you want to check out the website, go to beerchristianity.co.uk. You can also find us on all the major podcast platforms. Tell us if there's a subject you'd like us to cover. Get in touch with us on Twitter, BRXianity, or on Yahoo email. On Yahoo email.
Yeah, on Yahoo email.
On the electronic? Fucking hell. What's happening?
Just Google Beer Christianity
podcast.
Go to the website and there'll be a link on it, or go on a social media and use the things they have.
It'll be fine. You'll find it.
You'll
figure it out.
Don't overthink it, guy. That's actually one of my resolutions, along with buying milk.
Listen, you guys are going to be eating your words when I tick off all my resolutions off my list.
I want you to keep us updated on that list. I think it's
you
important.
are 100% going to forget about my.
No, but you must keep it. That's why you have to keep us updated.
Are you going to be my accountability partner?
I am.
I'll be your mentor. So that's two things ticked off.
Laura phoning me at 2 a.m. I still haven't hung the mirror.
I can't get the command strip to work. You guys are going to shit your pants when I tell you that hanging up some pictures is also on my list.
Whoa, I have in fact just defecated. Anyway, on that really high note,
Happy 2023.
Happy 2023. Happy New Year. We've got some cool stuff. We have an academic who wants to talk to us about American foreign policy, which I think is going to be awesome. That's coming up. We also have Brian McLaren and lots of other cool stuff. But let us know if there's anything you'd particularly like us to cover. And thanks for listening. I hope that tell us about your, resolutions.
Yeah.
That'd be cool. I would dig to hear it.
Thursday.
Yeah. Have a lovely 2023. Bye.